yellow flowers in her hair. Oh, so exquisite. He waited for her every day and just followed her, and you know he fell in love with her. And he knew she would never look at someone like him. He wasn't sleeping very well. He wasn't eating very well. And finally his mother said, "Dear, what is wrong with you? You don't seem to be happy." He said, "Mom, stand here with me." And there she came. His mother saw how he was looking at her, and she understood. "Mama, she will never look at someone who looks like me." He says, "I know who that is. Her parents are rich merchants that live on the other side of town, and they are looking for a handsome husband for her. Let's ask the family if they have any ideas tonight when we all gather together." And so when the gambling family got together, they just discussed it, had some great ideas, and finally they loaned their very best clothing, jewelry, everything to the mother. The mother went across town and she introduced her to the family. And she said, "I understand that you are wanting your daughter to get married." And they said, "Hi." Hi. She said, "Well, my husband and I have a son, and he is ready to get married. He's very fond of your daughter. He sees her walking to the market, and he thinks that she's lovely. I understand that you are looking for a handsome husband." Hi. "Well, my son is known as the fairest youth in all the land. Is it all right if he comes and visits your daughter and courts her?" And they said, "Hi." "Well, we have a custom in our family. We do all of our courting at night because it is so romantic. Is that all right with you?" Hi. And so she went back with permission, and they dressed the ugly boy up very nicely, put a nice hat on him, warned him to keep his face in the shadows. And after the sun was down, off he went. And he came to the door, and he bowed, and they said, "Are you the fairest youth in all the land?" And he said, "Hi." He went up to the daughter, and he said, "I have been watching you for the longest time, and I think what would be the loveliest thing for us to do together, to get to know each other, could we go walking in your back garden, which is lit so beautifully by the tiny little lanterns along the trail?" And she said, "Hi." So they went, and they quoted poetry to each other, and they loved the same poetry. He made her laugh. He sang to her. She sang to him. They had a wonderful time. He said, "May I come back tomorrow night?" And she said, "Hi." So he came back the next night, and the next night, and the next night, and the next night, and they fell in love. So both of his parents were given the most lovely things that the family could scrape together. And the two of them went and they presented themselves to the family. "Our son would like to marry your daughter. Do we have your blessing?" Hi. "It is fine with us. Your son is so polite. He is so kind. He makes our daughter so happy. We would be delighted to have them married. But we have a custom as well. Your son will have to come and stay with us overnight the day before the wedding and wake up and have a wedding breakfast with us. Do you agree?" But they had to say, "Hi." But they knew that would be a problem, because when the sun rose, there was no hiding that face. So the mother and the father went back, and that night when the whole gambling family got together, they discussed this, and they came up with another idea. And so when the son was bathed and robed in the most beautiful, fine blue kimono, he was dressed for the wedding, he went over that night. And he said, "I am ready to stay with you, and we will have our wedding breakfast in the morning." And she said, "I have cooked a dinner for you. We are going to have you sleep in this room. This is the guest room, and you and I will have a candlelight dinner together. Do you think that's a good idea?" And he said, "Hi." And so they ate the food that she had cooked for him, and they laughed softly and had a wonderful time. And finally, the parents knocked on the door and said, "Missy, time to go to your room." And they locked the groom in his room. In the middle of the night, the uncle and the cousins climbed up on the roof and started making a racket. They were banging pans and stomping and growling and, "We are looking for the fairest youth in all the land." And the want from me?
Well, I have been haunting this house for 3 years. I have been planning to kill the young girl so I can take her to be my bride in the spirit world. But you are going to marry her. Now I will have to kill the family, the whole family, and destroy them.
Oh, no, please, no. Don't do that. They're innocent people. Ask anything you want of me, anything, I will do anything to save them. The family's on the outside, and they're listening through the door, and they're going, promise him anything. Please, promise him anything. I will do anything you want.
The only thing that would make me happy is to make you the ugliest boy in all the land.
They're calling through the door. It's all right with us. We'll stand behind you, please. Do it for us. Do it for us. And so the ugly boy said,
Hi.
And then there was a horrible sucking sound. And the uncle and the cousins tiptoed off the roof and disappeared. And the ugly boy hid his face, and they unlocked the door, and they opened the door, and they came in with their lanterns, and they put their lanterns to their face. Oh! You poor thing. And the ugly boy said, oh, I am so horrified you will never know how handsome I was. But his bride was so proud of him. He had saved all their lives. And the next day they had their lovely breakfast together, and when the whole wedding gathering came, and that story went around the wedding gathering, how heroic he'd been, he was the hero of the day. They were happily married. And the rich merchant decided to build a nice house for them way across town. They continued that habit of visiting only at night. They said they were being respectful, but I suspect there were other reasons. But the happy ending to this story is that all their children took after their mother. And so do you think they lived long and happily together?